So spirits and humans are like
So
no.
spirits is pretty was pretty well explored in the old modern format prior to Modern Horizons. It was like top of the metagame at one point,
Yeah,
and I've played the deck a bit. It's a fun deck. And Goblins is kind of a newcomer, so it's a deck that's not really been in Modern for a long time. Looks like Andrew taking a mulligan.
yeah. I have a lot of experience playing against goblins in Legacy, but I'm not super familiar with it in modern. Luckily, Ingo has a one drop, which his deck seems to lack a lot of,
Yeah,
starting with Aether Vial.
yeah. Aether Vial is probably the best possible start you can have for this for the Goblins deck.
And Andrew going to 18, shocking for a Noble Hierarch. So notably, no two drop from Ingo.
That's interesting. The Goblins deck does have a pretty high mana curve, or the builds I've seen. I don't know. I played against Ingo on Friday. His list looks pretty interesting. Um, but in general, the Goblins list and his included seem to have a fairly high mana curve. Like they've got a lot of 3 and 4
Yeah,
drops.
they
So
definitely
not
skew
having
heavily.
a 2 drop is not the worst. And maybe he just thinks he's playing around like a spell queller or something from his opponent. Well, I guess he was on the play, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and he might want to like, maybe he's just gonna violin his one drop at
Right,
the
he's
end
definitely going to
step.
violin his 1 drop.
Yeah,
So if he has one, I mean.
yeah. So I'm used to the explosive starts from this deck playing the two mana bush not bushwhack the two
Oh,
mana lackey.
yeah, the Warren Instigator.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a card. So uh, that seems to be a card that shows up in a lot of these lists, but it's also not totally uncontroversial. Obviously, Goblin's not fully explored what the optimal
Yeah.
build is. So I mean, Instigator is very tempting. It's gonna be hard for it to connect in this matchup because there's a lot of blockers. But if it can get through it, generates a lot of mana.
Yeah.
Especially combos well with Ringleader and Matron because each hit um,
Counts. You
counts
can. Yeah,
separately,
yeah.
right?
With
Like
different
each
triggers.
first strike and
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm more familiar with the legacy version where you just go like lackey on one.
so did Andrew play out an Aether Vial after he played out his Thalia?
Oh, yeah. Did he pay the tax for that?
Uh,
He might have played the Aether Isle first and then played the
yeah,
Thalia.
I don't think he did that, but he could have.
He could have. So
So I don't think we're
I
gonna
don't think it.
bother to.
I don't. I don't think it affects the games too. Players should be randomizing, but whatever.
I think he accidentally flipped over his deck.
Yeah.
Mechanics of physical card games. We're just gonna let them play and call judges as they see fit for now.
Yeah.
We would usually stop it when we see something like a Thalia tax being missed, but it's so inconsequential here, and we're at regular REL that I don't think it's gonna matter too much.
Is that a matron?
It's a Goblin Matron.
Okay. I didn't recognize the new art.
Ooh, Instigator. That's a nice hit. So I
Or
wonder if
no,
he's
isn't it munitions
oh,
expert?
Munitions Expert. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I meant to say. Still had the Instigator on my mind.
Yeah.
Um,
So munitions expert is basically an analog of shaman of the pack, but for goblins.
but it hits creatures.
Oh, it also hits
Yeah,
creatures.
it doesn't hit players. The creatures are planeswalkers. It's actually
Oh.
much stronger in some cases.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a removal spell.
yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Oh, creature or planeswalker. That's an interesting template.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's going to snap this off on the Thalia or wait for a juicier target, because the Thalia is not very good in this matchup.
Dude, this card has some wild art. Look at that shark.
Oh, yeah.
Shark. There's like two. There's like several sharks and like a bird. Is that a chicken? What is that?
He's throwing everything but the kitchen sink
Yeah.
at his opponents.
All right. So it looks like a
So he's
Mausoleum Wanderer being
casting a
cast.
Wanderer. So that means he has another 1-drop in hand, or he has some other reason for casting. So responding to Mausoleum Wanderer. That's interesting. I don't know if there's a reason to do that. I guess he's just thinking that he doesn't want to get.
Well, Sathalia is a human, right? So there's not even like really ways
Yeah,
to,
there's not really any way it can get pumped.
or given hexproof or anything like
Yeah.
that. I guess he can't really do it inside of combat if there's a second hierarch.
Right, that's true.
And he
Yeah,
could-
I guess
and-
the hierarchs make it a little bit awkward.
Yeah, and he could just get blown out by like attacking, or no, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's what happened.
Yep.
Thalia's dead. So he's played out two 1-drops. He's still got a
The
vial on
War
1.
Chief. So that gives your goblins haste and they cost one less, right? It's a
Yep.
discounter. So this looks insane. Ooh,
Ooh, the Trash
great.
Master. So, opponent notably does not have Spellcaller mana up because they played one of those Hierarchs.
Yeah.
Sends everything. Seems like a pretty good attack. There's not much the opponent can do. Violent another Wanderer gets him an okay block on one of these things because this will pump his
Yeah, but
existing Wanderer.
then whichever one gets blocked, he's just going to sack to kill the Aether Vial.
Correct. In fact, I think there's an argument for even like,
Like pump faking the vial, or
yeah, or like even him blowing up the like sacking the matron, like forcing the vial activation before attacking. It's like you just sack the matron, blow up the vial, and see what he does.
yeah.
And then attack if he doesn't do anything.
Well, so Andrew only has one card in hand,
Right.
so it has to be like exactly a one drop, right?
Right. I mean, I'd be inclined to think it is a one drop because he didn't use the vial, but maybe.
Yeah.
So he had another.
So he had
Wanderer.
another water. So no cards.
So it
in
made
hand.
sense that he had. So based on how this is playing out, I think this seems like this seems like the kind of matchup you'd want to play with goblins. It's
Yeah.
like your spirits is like very good against like spell-based combo decks
Yeah.
and things like that because they play disruptive creatures. Okay, so this is definitely one of the better draws you can have right now.
Goblins
Gets him back in
also. Sorry. Goblins
Yeah.
also notably, since it's a toolbox deck with Matron, doesn't
Yeah.
play a lot of 4-of, so
Right.
cards like the Deputy of Detention that are more effective in other creature decks that play a bunch of 4-ofs,
Yeah.
it's like not as effective here.
That's a good point. Yeah. Also, Goblin Piledriver, which I don't know if he's playing it or not, has protection from blue,
Yeah.
so that could be very relevant here. Alright, attacking with the Wanderer, which got pumped twice from 2 entering, got double exalted. So it should be 6 damage. I think that's what they said, right?
Yeah. So, if Ingo has a ringleader here, the game's pretty much just over. What are some
Well-
other cards you could have?
I wouldn't say it's over. I mean, Andrew has two 2/2/2s.
3 2/2s.
3 2/2s, but one of them is tapped.
Oh, I just meant for next turn.
Oh.
Oh.
So that will presumably.
So he could get. He could.
He could get a ringleader, and it would also cost one less.
Yeah. The munitions expert also.
He could also
costs-
just get Kiki Jiki and cast it.
and then just start.
Oh, Sling Gang. That's pretty good also.
Yeah, super good.
Yeah, I
It
think.
might just be lethal.
I was actually watching Gabe Nassif stream Goblins over the weekend, and he thinks that Sling Gang is a better card in the deck than the Ringleader even. Like you just win a lot of games by burning people out with Sling Gangs.
Yeah. Slinging is super good. Also, it costs. So, like, Siege Gang costs 5, right?
Right.
So this costs 4, so you don't have to, like, awkwardly ever put your vial all the way up to 5
Right.
for one card.
Right.
Because there are a lot of 4-drops in the deck. There's Ringleader, this card, Trash Master, Cranko.
Yeah. There's a lot of options in Goblins for sure. It's hard to know what the best build is. Yeah, this looks like
This
lethal.
looks lethal, yeah.
Because he can just stack out after damage. And
Yeah.
all his guys are getting pumped by the Trash Master.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty.
I mean, the Bant Spirits he didn't have very many. He had a lot of 1-drops, but I wouldn't say it was a bad draw for the Bant Spirits. I mean, he kind of hit the company when he wanted to.
Yeah, he had Aether Vial,
Yeah.
like, Lord.
He had he had a Lord. He had a lot of acceleration. He had some creatures
And
that
a-
were potentially disruptive in some
Yeah.
matchups, but the Goblins just went way over the top with damage.
Do you think there's an argument there for, like, just leaving Thalia since all your things are creatures? Just
Oh
ignoring it as
yeah,
a
like
2/1.
not killing it with the munitions
Yeah,
expert.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that was maybe a bit hasty. I mean, the first strike is annoying though, so maybe that was just
yeah.
figuring in. So it makes bad attacks.
But it doesn't get pumped by anything, so you could just like leave it and
Right.
just be like, I'll take two, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
But so, do you think that there's anything that either of these decks gains from sideboarding?
Good question. So Ingo is in black, which means he could have New Modern Horizons All-Star Plague Engineer in his sideboard.
That
That would
seems
be a
good.
that card would probably be a beating.
Yeah.
Just like Anti-Lord, the
You're,
opponents.
I mean, you're already probably favored against all the tribal decks anyway.
right. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe yeah. Maybe it's not worth the slots.
Yeah.
And you also can't tutor it because it's not a goblin.
Yeah.
Um,
Could
I
you
don't
imagine
know.
if that card was a changeling instead of
that
a
would be a
carrier?
beating. That
That'd
would
be
be a beating.
insane.
Yeah, that would be insane.
So.
I don't know. So spirits usually, spirits usually has access to Path to Exile in the main deck, which
Yeah.
is probably definitely a card you want to see in this matchup. I don't remember how I. So I was a fan of. I was always a fan of Settle the Wreckage in my spirit sideboard. Not a lot of people play that. There's a list. Um,
Maybe. Do you think that something like Earwig Squad would come in,
I don't think so. I think Earwig Squad is something you want against like combo decks.
or maybe like Control X to take their
Yeah,
sweepers or
maybe
whatever,
control decks you
something
take
like
their
that.
win cons.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see a whole lot. I mean, if you have a pile driver, so this potential. So we're looking at one list here, and I doubt this is exactly Ingo's list, but Goblin Chain Roller is a big one too. I
Yeah,
wonder
that
if he has
seems sweet.
If he has that in a 75.
Yeah. Chain Roller seems fantastic.
Yeah.
Also, something like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chain Roller seems good. What about, on the Spirit side, I've had Settle Wreckage in my board, but that's not a stock Spirits thing.
Yeah.
A lot of stock Spirits lists are playing Worship.
And
But-
Deputy of Detention.
Deputy Detention, yeah, seems pretty good. I think Worship could be okay, but the problem because they're playing against a red-black deck, which generally doesn't have a lot of ways to interact with enchantments. But Sling Gang Lieutenant causes life loss, so it might not be.
So it just gets around worship.
So it just gets around Worship.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I'm interested about like how many 1/0s Ingo's playing
yeah. that's a
and
good
what
point.
they are.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely like you were saying earlier, like a very unexplored deck. There's a lot of
Yeah.
room for like.
Yeah. Modern
Different
Horizons
lists.
gave this deck some tools, and then we also had Ringleader in M20,
Yeah.
Core 2020, or Core 20, whatever.
Everybody
it's called.
thought Ringleader was just going to be in Modern Horizons.
Yeah. Now we know why it wasn't.
Yeah. Do you think Ingo's playing the 2-mana discounting lord?
Frog Tosser banner, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just another War Chief.
Yeah.
I think I really like the War Marshal as a 2-drop, the Echo one.
Sure.
That makes
Yeah.
a token. I think that, and maybe Pile Driver, and obviously we
Pile
talked about
Driver's sweet.
Instigator earlier as 2-drops. So there's a lot of options, and he's got Munitions Expert as well. Pretty much every spot on the curve in Goblins except one is strong. There's a real dearth of 1-drops in Goblins, I think, from what I've
Yeah.
seen.
I've seen Foundry Street Denizen.
Yeah, that's not bad. I've seen Knucklebone Witch. That's a bit of a more obscure one.
I don't know that card.
Knucklebone Witch is kind of a goblin aristocrat type thing.
So that's to do more with like.
I doubt it's in Ingo's list, but it's
So is it just another Sling Gang or?
a 1/1 for 1 black, and whenever a goblin dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on it.
Oh sure. So that plus Sling Gang just gets insane.
Yeah, so it gets very big just whenever you're. It's a bit like an inverse champion of the parish,
The
but it's
first
black.
champion of the parish.
you know, because it's when the goblins die
Yeah.
and they enter.
Yeah. So Andrew mulliganing and goes keeping. Yeah, generally just having more cards and like creature max, which is pretty good since neither of you really have like like ways to draw a bunch of cards. Like nobody has like any of the
Right.
new planeswalkers that are just like howling mine for just you.
Right. Yeah. I think the Spirits deck really is leaning, or the Bant Spirits is really leaning into Collected Company to generate
Yeah.
card advantage.
Hopefully players remember that they're doing London Mulligan. It looks like they do remember. That's great.
Alright, Andrew's starting off with a Misty Rainforest.
Fetching, going to 17. Probably gonna get. Actually, I have no idea.
Yeah, you could get any on of Breeding Pool, Temple Garden, or Hallowed Fountain, depending on what his hand looks like.
Yeah, they're like all reasonable.
Yep.
Hollow Fountain probably the least reasonable unless you have like a.
Yeah. Unless you have like Path. But you probably wouldn't fetch shock for Path on one.
Yeah. So
you get
Temple Garden.
Temple Garden.
I would have thought breeding pool would be the most reasonable, but it really depends on texture of hands.
Right. Yeah, Breeding Pool casts Hierarch and Mausoleum Wanderer.
Yeah.
They all cast Aether Vial.
Okay, so starting with Noble Hierarch, looks like he has a spell queller in his hand.
Auntie's Hovel tapped.
Can you move it off stream? Like we can't see Ingo's hand. So it looks like Cavern naming Goblins.
It goes saying he's very slow mid-range deck. Saying he has no 1 or 2 drops. Alright.
I mean, the deck is like all 3 and 4s, right?
Yeah. Okay, so he's gonna end step a Munitions Expert here. The Master Bluff, lamenting his lack of plays, and then end stepping Munitions.
Throws the Munitions Expert at his opponent. Power move.
Alright, so he can put a Spell Queller into play. So he can either use Spell Queller to counter. Okay, so this is interesting. Like, it works out pretty similarly. I think Andrew was about to Spell Queller in response to the trigger, but decided to just Spell Queller the Expert. I don't know what's better, honestly.
Oh.
So, but I think that was a bait. I think he assumed his opponent would have a Spell Queller and really wanted his 3-mana spell to resolve.
Yeah. Because the Plague Engineer is just like
Yeah.
back-breaking, right?
Yeah. I mean, he needs a Lord here to just...
Okay.
So that Eidolon's going to be an 0-3. I don't think Eidolon's plays very much in this matchup. It does stop him
No.
from chaining
Like,
chaining a bunch of goblins together.
yeah, like
but,
War Chief into like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
But it also will slow him down a bit.
yeah, and also, you're both Aether Vial decks.
Right.
Notably, probably, Goblins is playing more Aether Vials than Spirits. Spirits plays like
maybe.
3 normally,
Yeah, a lot
right?
of Spirits decks are playing 3. Alright, so what do we tutor in this spot? Maybe just another Munitions Expert? The House of Cards starts falling down.
Cranko.
Could get Cranko, yeah.
You start making a million Goblins every turn.
Yeah, I guess getting another Munitions Expert is a bit risky. Because
Yeah.
it's not really that high impact if it just...
War Chief.
War Chief's fine. That's true, yeah. So another line available if he has it in his deck is getting Tarfire and then shooting the Spell Queller.
Yeah.
Because Spell Queller is a 1-2 right now. I wonder if he serves. I think he just serves with the Plague Engineer, right?
He did name Spirits with the Plague Engineer.
He did. No, I'm saying like he can attack with it.
Oh, because it has Death Touch?
Because it has Death Touch and it's an 0-3, facing down an 0-3 and a 1-2.
Yeah.
So he kind of missed out on 2 points there. Maybe he wants to leave it back to block, who knows.
Maybe he's afraid of something with Flash.
Yeah, true. It could be like a Rattle. I mean, I guess Rattle Chains doesn't really play, but yeah. I guess he could. Yeah, I don't know. So Ingo taking 2 in the air off the Exalted trigger.
Ingo going to 17. Probably fetching just a mountain. He already has
Every black source.
3 rainbow ramp. Yeah. I'm really excited to see what Ingo's going to cast.
So Andrew is representing Collected Company right now.
Yeah. But Ingo could cast a 5-drop, which is immune to Spell Queller.
That's true.
He has a lot of cards in hand.
That's true. He could also have like a sequence where he plays War Chief and holds up a second Munitions Expert if that's in his hand. Because it has Flash, which kind of also gets around to Eidolon.
Yeah. So it looks like Andrew has oh.
Alright.
Okay.
So sequence of multiple Spell Quellers.
Yeah, this is usually how Spirits wins games.
So this time he does decide to send his Plague Engineer. Similar attack as last time. He just has a good attack available. Can't really block, so there's no reason not to.
Well, he could block, but he'd lose both the Spell Quellers, which is pretty bad.
Oh no, I'm saying Ingo can't block on the back anyway, because
it's flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Deputy taking the Plague Engineer.
Yep, that's pretty good.
So now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
5?
Five power if he wants to send the Eidolon as well, which he does. Alright, but this is again, it is kind of a House of Cards situation, right? Like one removal spell, and the whole house kind of comes crumbling down, I feel like.
Yeah, because he has that War Chief in his hand. So
Yeah.
as soon as the War Chief's freed up, he just like dump his hand.
Yeah. I mean, probably Goblin's not playing a whole lot of removal. Alright, so now we might see the second Munitions Expert. Of course, he can't do it this turn. He has got to do it on the upkeep. Or maybe
you could just do it end step, right?
You could do it end step. I mean, it risks your opponent.
You can also do it in response to any lords or anything.
Right. The risk with giving him an extra card is that he could just draw him into the company, right?
Yeah.
The company or the lord or whatever, or the other spell queller or
looks
anything.
like Andrew didn't untap his creatures.
Yeah, I think he just missed the untap.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, so the line you're saying is untap spell queller, or kill the spell queller, get your other thing, kill the other.
Yeah, exactly. There's just like a whole
there's a lot
chain of stuff he could free up like 2 of his things, right?
Yeah. Or kill the Eidolon and then be able to cast every card in his hand.
Yeah,
be like,
that's another line available to him.
Bant.
I think it's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because if you kill the one, and if you kill the spell queller and then you kill the Eidolon, you actually have 4 damage to kill the Eidolon.
Right.
Like before
that's true. Yep. Yeah. So I still like. So I guess what I'm saying is I still like casting Munitions Expert on upkeep because I don't want my opponent to have an extra draw step to find their. Because you can't. I mean, obviously, ideally, I want to do it when my opponent is tapped out. So maybe he's
sure.
But like Spirits is never going to tap out once they're ahead and on board.
Does he have the company? I can't really tell.
I don't know. I don't know if he has company.
Looks like he has a land that he's thinking about playing.
Yeah.
Land, Selfless Spirit.
Yeah, Selfless Spirit plays. So he's got to respond to the Selfless Spirit.
So I'm interested to see what line he takes.
Okay. So he missed.
Yeah, he missed just getting a free Munitions Expert out of this.
Yes.
And killing a Spell Queller.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a reason he did that. Maybe it was something we're missing.
No, I feel like it's just free.
Yeah. Oh no, there is.
Oh, he can't cast it because you have to cast it.
Yeah, so in fact he can't cast the Plague Engineer either. So we should probably correct that.
Oh, yeah. We I'll be right back.
Yeah. Also, he can't. So the Selfless Spirit is still alive. Yeah. This is a tricky.
Terrible. You can't.
Yeah, we're wrong. It wasn't a spell play, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so the players corrected us.
Interrupted a game for nothing. We got so caught up talking about Spell Queller. We're just so
Yeah.
excited about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I didn't point something out the players didn't notice.
Yeah. That's why. Well, we didn't notice it, right? We didn't. We were like, why didn't he get a free?
Yeah.
Why didn't he get a free Munitions Expert? The reason is because he can't
Cast
cast
it.
Munitions Expert because of
we-
Eidolon Rhetoric.
Yeah,
So in fact,
we got
Ingo,
so excited about that we thought,
Yeah. So Ingo made the right.
Ingo made the right decision. Yep.
Yep, Ingo made the right play.
They're all blue-white and take cards under them.
Yep.
It's so confusing.
Yep.
It also isn't helpful when the players are playing all foil cards. On the upside, he's not playing Expedition lands. Because those are literally undecipherable.
Right.
So it looks like he cast a Trash Master. So just a 4-mana Lord. I shouldn't have interrupted that game. I feel really bad.
Oh no, it's fine. But it's worth thinking about like why the players made the decision. So
Yeah.
so
We totally missed that.
yeah. So we were saying, oh, he could get a free Munitions Expert, but in fact, because of Eidolon Rhetoric, it is actually kind of a lock.
Yeah.
On just chaining a bunch of spells. So the House of Cards is actually not as fragile as it
Yeah.
initially appeared. It's still
We need another Munitions Expert.
yeah. So he's trying to hit some lords off this collected company before damage.
Ooh, whiff.
No hits. No hits.
Andrew seems upset about that.
Well, it happens sometimes, especially like post board. Sometimes you board into more
Yeah.
removal.
Yeah, when I play Elves, I have that problem a lot.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I diluted my deck too much.
Yeah. So we'll be curious how he sideboarded. It's a little bit different in Spirits because Spirits has a lot of utility creatures in it.
Yeah.
So you probably don't ever go down too much in collect company habits, but maybe he has some removal spells he boarded in, and
I mean, you're already kind of light, right? Because you're
Right.
playing
because you're already playing Paths and Vials.
Paths and Violet, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ingo going with the full alpha. I guess he's pretty safe, right?
Yeah, there's not much. Opponent tapped out, whiffed on their company.
Yeah, because you have a Lord and a Plague Engineer.
Yeah.
So there's no way for him to get rid of both effects and block something favorably.
I think he also has to block, right? Because he's got a Lord, so it's 2, 4, 6.
8, 10. No, this is a 3/3.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's taking 7, go to 4.
Yeah. Oh, Sling Gang's going to be lethal here.
Yep. All right. Insane.
Yep.
So I really feel like Goblins. He did whiff on the Coco, so that was pretty rough.
Yeah,
But-
Coco has some RNG associated with some variants.
So Elves used to be the deck that beat up on all the other creature decks.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Goblins has taken up the mantle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I wonder how Goblins versus Elves would play out. I actually think Elves is still faster than Goblins.
It is, and they don't interact with you in a very
Yeah.
favorable way. They don't
Yeah.
have any of the weird take your card cards. That the
Right,
other two
right.
have.
Yeah. Although he's playing Plague Engineers, so that's
They're
a
in the
beating.
sideboard though.
Yeah. So, but that is a beating for Elves.
Oh,
You could
yeah.
even play it in Elves.
I have played it in Elves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just a great like creature mirror.
So it seems like Andrew only boarded in 2 Eidolon Rhetoric, which is an interesting decision. So we saw Eidolon Rhetoric did have a relevant text box because it stopped him from casting 2 removal spells to get rid of
Yeah.
Spell Queller. Cut the Thalias for sure.
Yeah.
Thalias are just useless in this matchup pretty much. Yeah, it seemed like he didn't have a lot of access to a lot of removal in his sideboard. He would
I
have brought it in.
love Goblin Crater Maker.
Yeah, Goblin Greater Maker's
Sweet
great.
card.
Should we see if we have another match going on?
Oh yeah, well, it looks like we definitely have enough time. So
Yeah, so that went pretty quick. So we're gonna see if we can get another match on camera here.